Y'all Show. Today we're filming in beautiful Los Angeles. We are here recording for our record, You Can't Kill Us. The only reason we're here is because of our amazing Kickstarter backers that completely just made this whole thing happen. So thank you so much. I have been recording songs here, and I've been writing songs here, and I've been in this very focused songwriting state for the last several months as we've been creating these songs. And so I wanted to share 5 of my super inspired songwriting tricks for you guys. And writing from a place of inspiration, I think, is by far the best way to go. I've tried before to crank out songs just for the sake of doing it, as in kind of like making a product because you have to, and that way sucks, and I always hate everything I make that way, and I never end up recording it because it freaking sucks. So that way does not work for me. So I need to work with inspiration, and so I need to collect ways that inspiration visits me and make it easy on myself, and I have been collecting those for the last few years, and I wanted to share 5 of them with you today. Okay, thing 1, change your state. You guys, if you are set up on your piano in like a little dark corner of your room and you've been there for months trying to crank out a hit or something that you love, freaking change it up. That is going to drain you, and you're going to be kind of creating this story for yourself where you're used to sitting in the same place, in the same environment. You're used to maybe feeling a sense of failure or disappointed in yourself, and so you need to switch it up. You need to kind of trick your brain here, get out of that space. So even if you can't travel like overseas or something dramatic like that, like just go to your local coffee shop. I mean, even like the library, right? Your town has a library. Go somewhere that's a little bit more public, that's going to have a different energy, and that energy and that vibe can very easily influence us and kind of get inside of us and help us to feel a little bit more creative. Coffee shops are totally my favorite way to do that, and speaking of, caffeine is another really great way to change your state. And this is for those of you who are not huge caffeine drinkers, so it's not like something super common for you, which is the case for me. I don't drink a lot of it, so when I do, it works, and it makes my brain buzz, and it just makes feeling that state of flow a little bit more possible for me. And it kind of feels like cheating because it's such like this external stimulation, but like who cares? When you want to write something awesome, you're going to do what you can to make that happen. Okay, so the second thing I like to do for this inspired songwriting concept is to free flow, just kind of dump all my ideas out through GarageBand. And so you can also do this just with an instrument, just kind of randomly start singing and hope something is good, basically. So you're not even thinking about it, you're just singing and then catching it as an afterthought where you're like, oh, that didn't suck, let's write that down. But even easier is to record it. And so I really like to just put on an instrumental track, or maybe Sean will have made a track for me. I'll throw it in GarageBand, I'll push record and just randomly go, and my brain will be thinking about something else completely, like I'm not really focusing here. And the cool part of this is you will sometimes, like, your soul will get through because your brain isn't getting in the way all of a sudden. So then I can listen back and be like, oh, that's actually a really good idea, and I wasn't even aware that that was an idea that I had, because it's almost like a different part of you, like your inner voice is doing the work for you. Then you go back and listen and you're kind of pleasantly surprised sometimes. And the other thing is here, trick 3, is when you're flowing, don't interrupt that by getting super caught up on something small. So I noticed just the other day I was feeling really good, I was buzzing, I was getting all this good stuff out, and there was a couple times that there were certain words that I was not happy with. So let's say I'm like, should I use, the word alive or life here? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to like sit there and actually think about that, figure out that problem, find a solution for that. When I'm in the state of flow, I'm going to keep going down the river. I'm going to keep riding that flow as far as it will take me. And so I just put a little parentheses, or I'll do a slash. I'll just, put a little like asterisk, something that notifies me in the future that, hey, I'm not super happy with this yet, but I'm not going to spend my precious creative flow time figuring that out. I'm going to fix that when I'm like just normal again. You know what I'm saying? Okay, trick 4 is don't be afraid to take your favorite pieces from past songs that you've written and make one new super song with it. And this only works if it's actually cohesive. So you're going to find, a lot of times, most people don't realize this, but you write a lot of crap to get to the good stuff. And I think you'll find that that's what you're going to have to do, is write a whole bunch of really crappy songs that you don't love, that you're like, I'm the worst songwriter ever. And then you're going to get like one little good piece to it, like, oh, but this part's kind of cool. So don't be afraid to go back and revisit your old stuff and chop up your songs. It kind of feels scary because you're doing surgery on your past stuff. And if you have a whole complete thing, you're like, oh, but this is pretty cool the way that it is. But you know what would be way cooler is if you take that bridge out, combine it with this strong chorus over here. And of course, you're going to have to go through and change the lyrics up a little bit to make it cohesive, to make it flow. But it's kind of cool because a lot of times things can accidentally end up working out and saying something in a better way than you would have thought to say it naturally, because you're just kind of accidentally making this whole new song. So don't be afraid to do that. I think that's a really valuable way to make an awesome song that's really strong, rather than letting 5 songs sit in your computer that you're never going to share with anyone. Hack them up and make one great song that you are willing to share with people. Okay, my 5th trick is this idea of mental hacks. Usually our brain is the thing that gets in the way of our creativity. At least it is for me. My brain trips me out. It just makes this thing so much harder than it has to be. So I try to make my brain work for me, and I give it a little chore, and I think if I'm not feeling inspired, if I kind of, have a deadline, I need to be making something, but nothing's really coming, I will listen to another band's song, especially a band that I don't really care about. So if there's like a band that's in my genre, it's like a rock band that I don't really resonate with, and I'm like, okay, you guys are cool, but I don't really get it. I don't really love what you guys are making. It helps me because then I have a point of reference. I can be like, okay, this is kind of what I'm not going for, and here's why. I don't like this part. I don't like the fact that they're using these kinds of lyrics. I don't really believe in what they're saying over here. This kind of riff thing is totally overdone. Like, you're not trying to be mean about it, but just basically find what you hate, and then you're in a good position to realize what you like. Like, you can easily just flip that and be like, oh, that means I probably want to be singing about this kind of stuff, and I really want to be changing up the structure here because I really wasn't resonating with how it was going over here. So it just gives you basically a starting point. Another way to do this, which I use much more often, is to pick one of my favorite bands and just imagine what their next single should sound like, and then I make it instead. And you're not even cheating because it's like totally going to be unique to you and sound nothing like the band. So just imagine your favorite band. Let's say they haven't been making the stuff you want them to make lately. Let's say a lot of times bands will make something that, for their first record that everyone loves, and then they'll go off some twisted path and then come back on their 7th record with something that everyone loves again or whatever. Go back to that first record and be like, why did I love this? And if they were to make another version of record number 1 for me, what would it be? Then write that song. And there you go. Now you've just made their record for them, but you get to keep it and you get to sing it because it's all yours. So those are my 5 tricks for super inspired songwriting. Thank you for joining me. I got to get back to work because we have Kickstarter backers coming into the studio today with us to record vocals on one of our tracks, which I'm so excited about. Like, how freaking cool is that? You guys helped make this record possible, so your voices are going to be on the record for everyone to listen to forever, which is awesome. I love you. Thanks for being here. Have a great week. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, a special thank you and shout out to my wonderful Patreon sponsors for making today's episode happen. I love you. Have a great week. Bye.